Hello everyone, welcome to a very exciting episode of Openly Beta. This is something a bit different. This is Jamie and Jack talking to each other, but it's not a sandbox episode.
Essentially a completely different concept that we've never tried before.
Yeah, this is a new thing, so bear with us because we've never filmed anything like this before because it's not sandbox and therefore it's entirely different.
Expect technical difficulties. Basically the lot.
Yeah. So this is the Last of Us 2 video, I guess. It features a Last of Us 2 fanboy and someone who didn't really like the first one and has no interest in the second one. So expect factual, unbiased fun ahead.
This is basically what this is going to be. This is going to be Jack giving some good opinions.
Yeah.
Good little bit of previewage. Not preview because it's out, but you know what I mean. To people who haven't played the game before.
Yeah.
Get a little insight into a fan, and I'm going to be very cynical, and try and
That
shit all
sounds
over
good.
his favourite franchise.
It sounds perfect. And maybe you'll hear some opinions that you haven't heard yet in the surprisingly divisive debate. The event that is The Last of Us 2 being released, because everyone cares far too much about this, me included, I guess. So
I don't understand. It's a very weird thing from my perspective because I was never ever going to buy this game.
Yeah, you're just not interested in the franchise.
No.
And now you're like, oh, this is happening.
But yeah, it's like I kind of just you have a respect for the game. I do. Naughty Dog are clearly extremely talented. Everything about the game looked good. It wasn't going to be a bad game, right?
Yeah.
It was always going to be a 10 out of 10. It was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Does it feel like to you that every bloody game at the moment has to come with some sort of controversy? Now, and you've got
not just game, everything.
Legit, well, yeah, I know. Oh, it's just tiring.
Yeah, it is tiring. That's a good way of putting it. You've just got to ignore it. You've just got to not get swept up in it because there are far more important things happening in the world right now. And people are so passionate about this. And it's good to be passionate about things. We love to hate things. We love to hate Game of Thrones. We still go on about Game of Thrones Season 8. No. People who love Game of Thrones Season 8 are probably annoyed at us for hating it. And there are lots of other things.
Although it's tiring, and I'm more on the side of I'm done with this now in terms of generally moaning about things in general. Yeah. But I say that, but then I'm gonna go on a rant, and I will do many podcasts in the future where I go on multiple rants. But
yeah, for sure.
If there's a controversy that there are some legitimately bad controversies. Just either something's really crap, or something's very exploitative, or something's like, as a narrative decision which is legitimately awful.
Yeah.
And then you have games like The Last of Us 2, where it's perfect. Apparently, you'll tell us all about that.
Well, according to the reviewers, the professional reviewers,
it's according to the reviewers perfect.
Yeah.
So of course we can't pick it apart for actual reasons. Yeah. So let's just be homophobic or phobic. No. Phobic. Just phobic.
Okay. Let's not say that though, because there are people who have criticisms about this game, and there are criticisms that I can completely understand, although many I disagree with. Mostly, I would say, and I think a lot of the hate comes from people thinking you can't criticize anything without being called a bigot in any sort of sense. It's the same thing with Ghostbusters 2016 when they were like, if you dislike this, you're sexist. But
I mean, clearly I disagree with that. That's terrible. The
thing that seems different about this example, so in Ghostbusters, the trailer came out, got loads of hate, and then they said, oh, people are just hating it because it's sexist. But with The Last of Us 2, it was announced, everyone was very much looking forward to it, and then Neil Druckmann was like, oh, if you're homophobic or transphobic, you're not going to enjoy this game. And then suddenly everyone was like, oh, he's he's talking about us. He's gaslighting us, whatever. It's like, but none of you have said anything bad about it yet. You're obviously just preparing to be transphobic or homophobic. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like
That
we say,
was
there
a
are.
silly thing for that person to say though.
It was silly for him to say because
is,
it is virtue signaling in a sense, and it's like no one was hating on the game yet. And like we say, not everyone who dislikes the game is homophobic or transphobic. I would argue probably most people aren't. A lot of people probably either have legitimate reasons to dislike it or just get swept up in the hate train.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I want to pick apart what you said that it was the reviewers thought it was perfect because they gave it 10 out of 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is something a lot of people have been saying. Oh, how can they say it's a perfect game when it's got all these flaws, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think that giving something a 10 out of 10 means it's a perfect game. Because I don't think a perfect game exists. But I think if you hold that score to that standard, you're never going to give anything a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, when I say... I use the word perfect. I know, I agree with you.
You don't mean flawless.
I don't mean... It's I suppose you could look at it as what that game set out to do and the way it did it was executed
masterfully.
Almost yeah, sure, masterfully is a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
Almost flawlessly. It doesn't mean that, if you were to say, yeah, but The Last of Us has like really it's a terrible F1 driving simulator. Like, you can't give it a 10. I know it's not perfect because it hasn't got a perfect F1 driving sequence in it. Because that would actually not be perfect. That would suck. Yeah. So it's perfect for what it wants to be. That's the whole point.
Yeah, which, I mean, this is another thing I should say. I haven't finished the game. I think I'm like a third of the way through.
That's a decent chunk.
Yeah, I've been playing it for like 6 or 7 hours, and I've just been exploring everything and trying to collect everything. But I'm just enjoying that so much. So far, I would give it a 9 or a 10 out of 10 from what I've experienced. Like, it's been great. Should we take things from the very tippy top and discuss everything? So, Neil Druckmann. I don't know a lot about Neil Druckmann, but he seems to be not very well liked. I don't know if that was before this, if he had a bit of an ego. I know one thing that happened was he became quite pally with Anita Sarkeesian, gaming's favourite human being. I think that alone caused a lot of issues for a lot of people, because I keep seeing her name come up, even though she had seemingly nothing to do with anything. And like, the game isn't more feminist than The Last of Us. It doesn't feel any more like a political message or anything. So that's kind of weird. So yeah, obviously all that stuff happened. He said the thing. People started getting angry, blah blah blah. The leaks happened. People weren't happy about the story, even though they hadn't seen it. They just kind of experienced leaks. Well, I think some actual footage of the game was leaked. So yeah, whatever, fair enough. But it's like you haven't played it yet. You don't know the full story. And then basically it came out, loads of 10 out of 10 reviews, and then everyone started review bombing it on Metacritic, giving it 0s out of 10s. And if you read some of those reviews, they're hilarious. A lot of them are just nonsensical.
Well, you can't. I mean,
as well as people,
the 0 out of 10, Metacritic's just diabolical. Okay. The user section, I actually think, this is a frustrating opinion that I have. I think it's it's an internal debate that I have, but I think for the critic reviews, Metacritic is, I would say, with the caveat, there's a caveat, but I would say it's pretty damn good at rating games overall, because it takes, I don't know, it takes people who have put effort into making a good solid review and throws it in there.
Yeah.
You can of course, the user review's a joke. I mean, you can absolutely ignore that. You either give it a 10 or a 0. It's the same with any of these
Yeah.
stupid user rated things. That's why Steam. That's probably why Steam only has thumbs up and thumbs down, because they know if you give it a number, people are just going to abuse it.
Yeah.
So.
Few people are going to actually take it seriously, and that's the thing. Like I say, you don't have to like the game. Obviously, you don't have to like the game, and people are leaving fair negative reviews. Give it a 4, 5, 6, whatever out of 10, whatever you want to give it. But like,
I mean, that's like, oh, I mean, sure, but like a 4. Like, have you? When's the last time you played a 4 out of 10 game? They are bad.
I disagree. I disagree with a 4, but. Fine, I can accept a 4, but a 0 is so... you can't argue that it's a 0. And they'll say things like, oh, that's a shame because the graphics are really good and the performances are really good. It's like, is that not at least 1 point at all? Yeah, so there's all that. Okay, so the main thing people are actually complaining about, because people aren't really complaining about the fact that there's a trans person in it much.
No,
You do see that, but it's a vocal minority, of course.
Oh no, of course. These sort of things. It's the vocal minority who are saying it's a bad game. Frankly,
yeah. I mean, it's the best-selling Sony game of all time. I'm pretty sure.
What, above Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was, like, immediately.
What?
Wow. I
Wow.
might have to Google that because you seem shocked.
Spider-Man was like
scared.
something stupid, like 25 mil.
Maybe it was in the UK. Oh, it was in the UK. It's Sony's fastest selling game.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that.
That's sick.
So yeah. So what people are complaining about mainly the plot of the game. Spoilers ahead, everyone. But not too many spoilers because I've avoided them somewhat well. So the game takes place 4 years ahead of The Last of Us. Joel and Ellie are in a nice settlement called Jackson with Joel's brother, all these people from the first game. It's good fun. And then you're playing. Joel and his brother Tommy go off to this outpost place. You're playing as Ellie and this girl that she's like into called Dina, I think. And then suddenly you play as a transgender girl called Abby. By the way, it's never, or not so far, it hasn't been mentioned that she is transgender. Like, that's...
Oh, it's just...
It's not a thing.
Yeah,
it's handled as well as Ellie being gay in the first game.
Right.
As in, it's not
a non-issue,
thing.
like it always is. Like
in
it's
real
just
life.
Real life.
And then Joel saves Abby from a bunch of zombies in an incredible sequence, which I love so much. And they're like, oh, we can't go back to Jackson. Like, we're gonna die. And she's like, oh, come and meet my friends at this place. We'll be safe. Like, oh, yeah, okay. So they go there. And then he's like, oh, I'm Tommy. This is Joe. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then it gets all, like, tense. And everyone looks at them all angry.
Oh.
And Joel's like, hey, you look at us like you know us. And then she's like, that's because we do. And then they beat up Tommy and knock him out. And then, like, pin Joel down and shoot his knees and stuff. And then Ellie finds out that Joel didn't make it to his outpost spot. So her and Dina go running off to find him. Ellie finds there's a whole bunch of people there, like, torturing Joel basically with a golf club. You know that golf club?
Yay.
And then they're like, okay, there's, like, people here now coming for us, so just kill him. And then she just kills Joel. She just, like, smashes his head in, and he dies.
Man, that happens at the beginning.
It happens right at the beginning.
Wow.
Which is funny because the leaks made out like it was leaking like the end of the game, but it's right at the beginning.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. There was no suggestion that Joel had any sort of big part to play in the story or the gameplay. It was all
So it's a revenge game. I'm playing as Ellie going after Abby. I haven't yet, but I'm sure that I'm going to be playing as Abby for a substantial period of the game, which people won't be happy about. And I don't know the ending, but I know a lot of people are very unhappy about the ending. I am assuming, I do think it's pretty predictable how it's going to end. I think either Ellie isn't going to kill Abby at the end, or Ellie and Abby are going to die.
Okay.
But I think it's more likely it's the former. Which I think is the message they're trying to get across, that revenge doesn't solve anything. But sure, I guess people would be angry because Ellie's killing loads of other people all the time, so why wouldn't she kill Abby? But then Abby is like different because it's not just a random person she's killing to survive. It's like Abby's like a symbol of the revenge itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far Abby as well has been like not really unlikable. Like I don't mind Abby, but she's a very flawed character. She's got a pretty punchable face, and I think, why are people talking about, or were talking about, the trans agenda? They haven't gone out of their way to make Abby likable. She kills the main character from the first game. There's clearly no agenda here. They wouldn't do this otherwise. Abby's just a revenge target. Yeah, but yeah. So the main criticism people have had is that Joel falls into the trap too easily and is killed too easily. He wouldn't do that in the first game. In the first game, there's a man like begging him for help in the road, and Joel like speeds up and runs him over, and Ellie's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, it's a trap. Don't worry." And then it is a trap, and they like, get out of this ambush. So people are like, "Why would Joel fall for this?" But 4 years have passed, and they've been living in this very nice, safe community, and it seems pretty established that Joel has softened up a bit. Like, at the beginning, he's singing to Ellie and playing the guitar, which he wouldn't do in the first game. He's telling her corny dad jokes, and he's just clearly has been feeling very safe in this place, and saw a young girl about to be mauled by zombies and wanted to help her because they're, like, right near their big settlement.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think this is unreasonable to think that he would fall into that trap and give...
Like
people like, why would he give away his name? Like... I know Joel kills a lot of people and stuff, but he's not like a famous outlaw. Like, I don't think he would expect many people to know his name.
No.
And a lot of people are like talking about the agenda. I've seen this a lot actually. Like, oh, the trans person has to kill the white male. I saw people like, it doesn't matter that Joel is such a great person with all these good morals, and he's a a great father figure and stuff. Oh, he still has to die because he's a white male. It's like, Joel is not a good person. At the end of the first game, he presumably dooms the human race by stopping the only chance at a cure, killing loads of innocent doctors.
Yep.
And he kills and tortures people constantly. I mean, it is for the sake of Ellie, but you can't justify a lot of what he does.
I don't think so.
It's like, yeah, the point is that he did bad things and then he died for it. People were just so in love with Joel. They're like, I can't believe they killed off Joel. I'm literally crying and shaking. I'll never play this game again.
No, it's because you play as him in the first game. So yeah, if you see him die immediately, it's kind of like, oh shit. But
that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
they were trying to make
that sounds good.
Shit. You play as Ellie in the first game. Why don't you just play as Ellie again?
So let's talk like gameplay, right?
Yep, I'll let you go for it.
What has, like, does it feel like the years of development time and next gen compared to the last one?
Yeah.
Does it feel like it's been
upgrade.
evolved? Is it an
yeah.
upgrade? Okay.
So this is an argument that I can also see why people are having. People are saying the gameplay is too repetitive, which is your main criticism of the first game, if I remember rightly.
It's really difficult. With my issues with the first game were kind of like, I was playing it the whole time. Like, I absolutely understand why this is a good game. Like, there's nothing here that I'm saying this is bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it was repetitive then. There was something about it that gel with me.
I think that's a reasonable argument for both games, and I mean, I consistently enjoy the gameplay, but it is repetitive. You are doing pretty much the same thing over and over.
I don't think you've got that's not my criticism.
You are?
I play and enjoy like grindy JRPGs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't think it's that was the issue for me.
That is true. But I think that's a lot of people's issue, and I think it is reasonable because that is potentially the weakest part of the game. But you're kind of doing an exploring section, a section versus humans, a section versus infected. You're kind of cycling between those three, and you're like maybe meeting new characters in between, and there's some cutscenes and stuff. But for me, it feels like an improvement. There's more mechanics, even stuff as little as like you can now crawl on the ground, like hide in short grass as well as tall grass and stuff, and there's more weapons and more upgrades and stuff like that. It feels like a general improvement. The kind of the first section of the game proper, I think it's kind of the start of Act 2, is you're in Seattle, and you go out into this big open area, you get a map, and you're trying to find gas to open this gate. But it's like a whole thing where you're exploring the section, you're finding stuff in different buildings, and then you're like, oh, this is here, you mark it on the map, you go there, clear it out, cross it off on the map, explore different bits. It feels so much more open to me, and like...
So that sounds very open.
Yeah, that bit there, I mean, when I first got in there, I was a bit overwhelmed, like, this feels huge. It was a lot kind of more well-contained than I thought, but, they always hide the linearness of it quite well.
Yeah.
But just the whole game in general feels so much more open, and it does just feel bigger and like an expansion of the mechanics in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I
like that.
I just think if that's...
I was taken out of the last game quite a bit by the fact that every so often I could see the corridors. Like there was quite a few instances in the game where it's like, this is actually like this is really thin. Like this is like an open area. Yet
I mean, I
can see the corridor that I have to walk through.
Yeah, I can see that, but I do think it's always hidden well, and I do also think that it is less linear, or not less linear because it is linear, but I think it is more open for exploration than it seems, because like I'll play the first one a lot and feel like I've found everything, and then I'll look at the statistics afterwards, and there's like loads of conversations and collectibles and stuff I still haven't found. But I think I'll find that even more in the second one, because there's just a lot more to it, it feels like. And people are really holding on to that criticism. But if you really have that criticism of this game, then did you not have that of the first game, which you are arguing was a 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Like, is the story... Do you really think the story's that bad? I'll concede that it's not as good as the first game. I much preferred the chemistry of Ellie and Joel is great, because it's two people who just don't want to be near each other and don't like each other. Loving each other in the end, becoming father and daughter. And it was a time when, I think we're still in the time where dads in games is just such a big theme.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the game dads we have. You got like BioShock Infinite, you got God of War. Game dads are everywhere.
Yeah.
But Dina and Ellie's chemistry for me has been really good. I don't know if maybe in the Abby sections I'm gonna struggle more. I'm sure there would be people who would make that argument to me if they were watching this video. Wait till we get to the Abby segments. And I do concede that I'm not that far into the game, and my opinion may change. And I'm almost certainly going to do a video once I've completed the game on my final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drag out this as long as possible. But I don't really see that happening. I like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't see how you can really hate Abby's motivation so much.
No. It sounds like a huge grey area. Well, I mean, debatably, it sounds like that you play as the bad guys in a way.
Well, yeah, because it's like, well, Abby's travelled really far, like across the country, I think, to kill Joel as a revenge plot. I don't really know yet. I think he killed her dad or something. But it's like Ellie's doing the same. She's doing the same thing that Abby did.
Yep.
And the point is obviously going to be that revenge is bad and pointless, and that the cycle will go on forever if everyone keeps revenging everyone.
Yeah.
But I don't see me not enjoying the story that much. And there's so much to love about it, even if you dislike the story. Like for me, I think the gameplay is great, but I can see if you don't. But you go.
In the trailer, there were a few trailers, but
Yeah.
there was a I think it was E3, possibly 2018.
I think it was 2014 or 2016. I think
No,
it was
no, no, no.
2016.
Not the one I'm referring to.
Okay.
That definitely wasn't, because I was in the third year at uni when I watched this.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
There was gameplay of Last of Us.
Okay, yeah,
and
that was 2018. Yeah.
it showed a very dynamic, cool-looking combat sequence.
Yeah.
Is that scripted, or is that?
It is. I mean, I thought the first game was very dynamic, but this does bump it up. It's so dynamic. This is what I was about to talk about. So, the AI in the first game were really smart, and that carries over. Like, you feel like they're actually trying to circle you and corner you, and also your partner kills people as well. Like, they
That's
actually
nice.
do stuff. They actually sneak up on people and kill them, or they'll shoot someone down if you're in a gunfight. Like, they're not useless. It feels like you're playing with someone. But it's so dynamic. You can go about it any way. You can not kill people and sneak through. You can go in guns blazing. You can sneak through one by one. You can take someone a hostage and shoot other people. I mean, there was a point where... This is a point where I was a bit disappointed by how less dynamic it was. But I killed everyone. There was one guy left, and I had a baseball bat up to him, and he threw his gun down. Was like, "No, please don't do it." And I was like, "Oh, sweet. Can I like get information out of him?" But then it just came up, square to strike, square to strike. I was like, "Okay, I guess I should hit him then."
Oh,
So like,
no.
bonked him on the head and took him out. But I thought it's still cool that like he threw his gun down and pleaded for his life.
I mean, I guess if they're going for a narrative of
Maybe if-
revenge is bad, then
Yeah.
maybe it's just like, no, Ellie just
And maybe I
wants to
could have
kill.
walked away from him and not killed him, and he would have ran. I don't know, but yeah. But yeah, if they if they find a body of someone you've killed, like every single character, every single like NPC and enemy has their own like backstory and character.
Huh.
So you'll kill someone, they'll find the body, and they'll be like, Justin, why? You were 3 days from retirement, Justin. Your
Oh,
girlfriend's in a third
no.
trimester, and I'm like, what have I done? What have I done?
Oh, no.
like they're all like desperately sad that you've killed their friends. That's
That's it then. That's the theme of the
boy.
game. The theme of the game then must be
yeah.
revenge is bad.
Yeah, and like, I think people are saying that you can't sympathise with Abby's group, but I've been able to. They just seem like normal people doing what I'm doing. In the first game, everyone was like cannibals or like just creepy men, like, man, I'm gonna kill these guys. But in this, they're all young. There's like men and women, and they're all like, I don't know. They just seem like normal people, and it's like, oh man.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I feel like people have a mindset when they play video games that maybe it's because we've been conditioned to it from playing years of video games.
Yeah.
And obviously, video games only really recently becoming more sophisticated in like gameplay and storytelling, intertwining.
Yeah.
Maybe when people are presented with characters that are actually quite reflective of the character that you're playing as, it comes across as being, oh, that's dumb and unrealistic. When actually it's like, well, think about it. You're a murderous psychopath. Press square to thwomp on a head. That's an unhealthy murderous individual, and it'd be interesting if they're going for that angle, because that is not explored often enough.
Also, another thing,
Yeah.
I'm very early in the game, and Dina, who is basically Ellie's girlfriend at this point, is sowing the seeds already quite constantly. Like, oh, it's weird that they didn't kill you or Tommy. They only killed Joel. Like, it's like they got what they came for and then they left. Like, she's obviously saying like, oh, they're obviously not bad people. They were just getting revenge on someone or whatever. And then she's like, oh, so what are you gonna do with this Leah girl? Like, you gonna hurt her? Like, oh yeah, I don't think we need to do that. But like, she keeps saying things. It's like, this is obviously building up to this. This isn't going to be out of the blue.
No.
But yeah, it's it's stuff. But the game looks so good.
I was going to say, like, what the graphics like, but that's a silly
incredible.
question. Obviously, it's like, it's interesting, isn't it? Last of Us came out the last year of the PS3. Last of Us came out, and it was like the best looking game on the system.
When was it, like 2012, 2013?
2012, I believe.
2012. No, it was 2012. It was just the same time as Bioshock Infinite.
It was exactly a year before PS4.
Yeah, it was.
And then, yeah, would you say it's the best looking PS4 game, kind of?
It's the best one I've played by far. Best looking.
I feel like the games you have on PS4 are a collection of the best looking PS4
I
games.
literally I have the most beautiful PS4 games you can own. But yeah, I mean, like, I play Uncharted 4 and I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. But there are moments, and my mum said this actually, and I think I've told you this before. I might have even said it on a podcast before, but it was an interesting insight from a non-gamer. But she said, like, the only things that give it away are like how pristine some of their faces look, and occasionally how janky they move, which is obviously, can't really be helped when you're playing a game. But the facial animation is just so unbelievable. It looks so convincing. And just everything is so beautiful and realistic looking. It's so impressive. Yeah, and the performances are incredible, obviously. Everyone in it is amazing.
I think the only thing these days, because we've reached photorealism for sure. Like the only time that you wouldn't we've reached photorealism in a way that is, if you went any more so, it would start to become very quickly not meaningful.
I mean, I'm like, constantly seeing screenshots of games that I just at a glance think is reality.
Like, of course, if you go up really, really stupidly close to something in a game, it's like, oh, that's like a texture. But obviously, if you're trying to be stupid with the game to see if you can break, the immersion, then sure, maybe you deserve to not. They shouldn't go through that level of effort. But I think animations is the main one. I think the way characters interact with other characters and the environments is still a bit janky, and that's the only thing that stops it from being perfect, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
We'll get there one day.
Exciting times.
It is exciting times, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, the music's great. You're really rewarded for exploration. Like, there's a bit where you find a guitar above a music shop and she starts singing Take On Me to Dina. Oh, that's really nice.
I reckon the music's great. Well, I don't remember the music being...
What, in The Last of Us?
Yeah, in The Last of Us, yeah.
Oh, the music's so good. I'd listen to the soundtrack just randomly. I love it. Before. It's so atmospheric. And I think it's also as good in the second one. And it's, it's really tense when it needs to be tense. And it's nice and ding 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 when it needs to be ding ding.
I played it like 7 years ago. So I don't remember it. I think for me, I think I'm well, maybe you're just broader, or maybe we just have different tastes. But for me, if something's like atmospheric and stuff, that's not bad. That's very good. Like, I like atmospheric music, but I'm not going to listen to that ever again. Like,
that's fair.
In the moment, Breath of the Wild springs to mind. I wouldn't listen to that unless I wanted to like go to sleep, which I actually legitimately have done before, because my God, that is a relaxing soundtrack. But when it comes to me with soundtracks, it has to be like for me to want to listen to it again.
No, that's fair. I mean, it depends what you're doing, and for me, it's obviously a lot of it is just I just love The Last of Us, and it just takes me back to it. It's like Skyrim. I listen to that soundtrack just because songs come on and it makes me think about moments that I had in the game, and it's good fun.
In fairness, I think with Skyrim specifically. I feel like I would get a lot of pleasure out of listening to that soundtrack, because you're right, it would take me right back to it. Yeah, that's what you need. It's good fun. But anyway,
I did have more to say, but I cannot remember what it is. But yeah, I love the game basically. I'm very much enjoying it. And like I say, you obviously don't have to like the game at all. Please dislike the game. But if you've got arguments against it, you might disagree with a lot of what I've said, which is fair enough. A lot of it's very subjective, but so much of it is just people really, really pushing a narrative of it being a bad game. And so many of these people haven't played it or watched any footage of it. They're just getting really into it. And there was a video I watched earlier, which I annoyingly cannot find. And it was someone playing The Last of Us 2. It was quite a small channel. And all the comments were like, oh, you can tell how much he's hating it. Oh, you can tell as soon as Joel died, he just lost all interest. Which is a big thing a lot of people are saying. Like, oh, Joel died, it's not interesting anymore. It's like, yeah, it is. You don't have to be Joel. But his description on his video was, for the record, I'm really enjoying this video game. I don't see what all the hate is about. And like all the comments were just, oh, you can tell he hates this game. It's like, no, just stop pushing this on everyone. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get why you'd want to do that either, because
it's weird.
So much love and passion went into this.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know, we should be supporting big single player games like this, because they're going to get rarer and rarer as time goes on, because for many reasons. I think to have a go at Last of Us like that is a real shame, and it's a real waste of time, because evidently it is.
It's not going to affect sales.
It's definitely a piece of art.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a fantastic game. I haven't played it. Not going. Probably won't.
Yeah.
But I look at these reviews, and although I didn't personally enjoy Last of Us, I get it. Like, I get that's not a bad game.
Yeah.
I can look at that and say that's not for me, but
you just can't take some of these reviews seriously. Like, we wouldn't give Game of Thrones Season 8 a 0 out of 10.
The only reason people do that
we'd
is
let people enjoy it.
Giving it like an 8 out of 10, it doesn't do anything when people are giving it 0s and 10s. Like,
yeah.
You either give it a 0 or a 10.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, you did make me just think of another thing.
Yeah.
So another controversy there was about...
Blimey. Oh my... How many?
So many. This has been one for a long period since the leaks and stuff, was the employees being put through a lot of grind and a lot of poor conditions. Which,
oh yeah, I've seen that.
I don't know how much of that is even true, but it wouldn't surprise me because this is such a huge issue.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing anyone complaining about that now, and I think that's such a reasonable complaint to have, and it's such an issue in general with just the gaming industry, with animation, with a lot of industries. And it's like, we should really be targeting that as a negative.
Yep.
But, giving the game 0s out of 10s doesn't really do anything. I guess not buying it and boycotting it does. But, you
we shouldn't
say that about a lot of things.
You shouldn't be boycotting Last of Us Part 2. I just
think if you care this much about the grind, do you worry about where, like, your clothes and your food and your tech comes from?
Yeah.
Your t-shirt was probably woven by a child slave in China.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you can't care about anything. That's kind of a stupid point. Yeah, but
No, it's.
We've derailed the conversation wildly.
No, it's difficult. I don't want to. It's a real conundrum, because you not giving a good game money might send the wrong message, and so I don't know. I'm not saying this is the answer, but I feel like buy games you enjoy them, but also keep an eye out for like any bad stuff. Maybe voice your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Just as long as the conversation keeps going, the higher ups will take notice, and they'll and I'm sure they will. I mean,
I think it's getting better.
I hate the idea of boycotting a game is difficult, unless there's a huge movement behind it specifically. It feels like with Last of Us, if you're boycotting it, it could be from one of many reasons. Whereas some games, there's like a single obvious issue, and then maybe if there's a huge movement behind it, maybe not buying the game would actually send a message in that regard. It's so tricky. It's
is tricky.
Like,
I do think it's getting better in general. I think it's generally a more well-respected industry, and people are being treated better in the workplace.
What's up with no unions and stuff? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean,
get these people. These people work their asses off, and they're
easy
incredibly intelligent
the companies
and
just
creative. Yeah, I know.
But people weren't worried about that. People were getting angry because Joel died at the beginning, and people were like, "Oh, imagine if this did this. Imagine if this did this." It's like Ned Stark died at the beginning of Game of Thrones. People didn't hate that. I guess it's hard because it's the beginning of the sequel. It's not like near the end of the first. And people were saying it like he should have died at the end of this game. But it was about the revenge. That was the whole point. And you can say that that's not a good message or it's too political or whatever, but okay, I don't think it is. I think that's a fine message. Maybe it's overdone, but like, I don't know. What do you want? The game wouldn't really have any point or story otherwise. It's not like at the beginning of Kingsman 2, where they just killed off a load of the best characters and randomly introduced new ones who were terrible and underutilized. Like, Joel dying was the whole point.
Although, I don't disagree with that. I still enjoy Kingsman 2. I'm just going to break that to you.
You are?
I still enjoyed Kingsman 2. Wasn't as good as the first one, but I still enjoyed it.
I actually really didn't enjoy it, to be fair.
You didn't enjoy it?
Maybe that's a discussion for another time.
I mean, it wasn't high art.
Jamie, it's a 0 out of 10. No, yeah, I
definitely wasn't 0.
I thought
that
it was
is not
fun.
Last of Us 2.
I just didn't like the
story.
That is
not The Last of Us 2.
It's not The Last of Us 2. Yeah,
any
I understand
thoughts?
I'm getting very passionate and worked up about this thing that I said is dumb to get worked up and passionate about. But, you know, I thought I would just throw out a different opinion out there. The whole thing about reviewers being paid off and stuff. I mean, I get that they're kind of paid off to the extent that they want to get invited to these events and stuff. Yes. But, I don't know, I think that's a dumb narrative. Otherwise, every game would be getting a 10 out of 10. Like, they're clearly not just giving it a 10 out of 10 because they want to please Uncle Naughty Dog.
There are many games that are very high profile and good that don't get 10 out of 10s. There's
and they're made by big companies that can invite small reviewers to events.
There's like tons of games. Trying to think of some off the top of my head, but like they got like 8.5. You know, they're good games. They're great games even. And they're really high profile. Oh yeah, here's a good example. Wolfenstein Youngblood. People hated that game because it was bad. It got bad reviews.
Yeah.
End of. There's no people being paid off here. It's Bethesda, but it's a bad game. I don't believe the whole reviewers getting paid off thing.
No,
I think
that's just people clutching at straws because definitely. I think a lot of it is kids. I think it's mainly kids. They heard something's bad. They want to jump on the train.
Unfortunately, it's annoying, isn't it? Because we have been on the internet for a while since we were kids, and you always see the same things. Since when we were using internet and browsing comment sections, there's always people saying the same thing. So you kind of assume that, it's the same people who are grown up. But you're right, it's probably kids. It's just a new generation of people doing it.
Yeah. Maybe we were like that once.
I was very suspicious about IGN's Pokemon score, but that is not Last of Us 2.
What was that?
No, I wasn't suspicious by it. I think they just got the wrong person to review it.
I mean, people keep saying like, IGN 10 out of 10. Like, yeah, fair enough. But, like, 30 to 40 other prolific reviewers also.
IGN... I think IGN are perfectly sound when it comes to their integrity.
Yeah.
I think quite often they have issues with where they place which reviewers reviews which games.
That's fair.
I think they have like wild wildly different opinions of some people, and it's reflected. And the person who reviewed their Pokemon game was like because I watch their podcast every so often, and she was a massive Pokemon fan. So of course the game got like 9 point something out of 10.
Yeah,
and it's like
that's a tough one though, because a lot of the time the fans hate the thing the most.
Well,
because she can kind of see what she would want out of a Pokemon game.
In fairness, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a solid rant. I feel like no more needs to be said about The Last of Us 2. I will continue playing it, and I will keep you updated, because I'm sure everyone is gagging to hear my opinion. Like I say, if you don't like the game, feel free. I'm not calling you a bigot or a transphobe or a homophobe, because you're not those things for disliking The Last of Us 2. There are reasons I can see why people would dislike it. It's just
I hate it when people say stuff like that.
It's so dumb. For sure. It's just virtue signaling, and it alienates people further. But I have seen that online, so there is obviously some of that.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean there was sexism when Ghostbusters 2016 came out. That doesn't mean everyone who disliked it was a sexist. The same situation with this. However, Ghostbusters 2016 was trash, and Last of Us 2, in my opinion, is very much not. But feel free to debate us in the comments. We would enjoy that.
Please do.
Let's keep it light and fun. Let's not get personal here. We're all friends. We all love video games.
Why not comment below if you are enjoying Jack's new hair, or
my new hair, yeah, for sure.
If the original was more your sort of vibe, we want to know.
My new hair got us to 100 subs, pretty sharpish.
And I guess to make it more balanced, what about your opinion of my my current rings of sweat that I have on my face right now, because I'm so hot in here? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, it's kind of unbearable, isn't it? It's also gotten a little bit dark, so I closed my curtains.
I went to a friend's house last week, I think. Yeah, last week. And her PC is like she's got an RTX 2080 Super, so it's a beefy old thing, right?
Yeah.
It is a tiny little box. She made it, built it.
Yeah.
Tiny little box, impeccably neat. It's almost silent. And then you've got mine. Has a significantly weaker graphics card.
Yeah.
But it's freaking hot.
Yeah.
It's loud. It's messy.
Yeah.
It's big. I think I should get her to build my next desktop.
Yeah, I mean,
the only reason why I'm so hot right now, I only bring it up because I'm hot because of this freaking desktop. It's so hot.
My PC's still doing all right. There is an SSD precariously balanced in there, but other than that, she's still pretty well put together. She's pretty cool. I'm just hot because of the Earth right now.
I mean, you got yours pre-built though.
I did. I mean, no, yeah, I've added some stuff.
Mine is the
Since
epitome of first builds.
Of Jamie built.
Next time you're over in like 20 years when COVID's over,
yeah,
I'm just gonna send you a photo. It's actually it's actually comical. I feel like I should post it on the PC gaming Reddit and have them all like die.
Yeah, actually, that would be funny. You should do that.
Anyway.
That'd get us some attention. Yeah. Anyway, stay safe, everyone. Remember to care about the big things in life. And we hope you enjoyed this video. Any closing thoughts, Jamie?
You need to find your own quest in life, and you might decide that's something that you need to do alone. You might decide that you need to do that with a partner, but either way, level up and get the experience that you want before it's too late.
We are openly beater. I love you.